All right, we are going to take what we know about the Sketchbook app and apply it in a totally different way to do a graphic self-portrait. The first thing that I want to do is I want to take a picture of myself with any kind of interesting expression. I took a bunch of random pictures here, and I'm going to pick one that I think might be interesting. It does not matter if it is a terrible picture of you because it's going to look so different when you get done with it. So I'm going to hit done. And now I want to set up my layers to be to work for this particular project. The one thing that I want to do is reduce the opacity on my image so I can see through it. So I'm going to click on the layer with my picture and slide that opacity. And I like it about midway, about 50 there. And then I'm going to click the layer that is blank and I'm going to fill it with some color. Now the color you choose to fill it with is entirely up to you. I think I'll do more of a green for this one, or maybe a blue-green. Oh, I always tend towards blue. I'm trying to switch it up and I'm already going back towards blue. I'll do like a dark green like this. You do want your color to be a little bit darker. So if you want to add in some darker shades in it, you are going to draw with white on top of it and you really want some contrast. So nothing super light. Once I have my color chosen, I'm going to just do a bucket fill and I'm going to color. Ooh, I worked on the wrong layer. Oh, there we go. I'm going to make sure I color that bottom layer. There you go, it shows right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace my major lines, but in white. So I'm going to choose a white pen. I'm going to unclick my bucket fill, so I'm just using my ink pen. I'm going to use this inking pen because I really like to see kind of different widths of my line, making sure that it's going all the way white and an appropriate size. Maybe a little bit bigger. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace over my major lines of my picture. And this might take a little bit longer. I'm just doing it kind of fast so that I don't waste time. And just going over those major lines. When it comes to hair, that's a little bit of a challenge. I like to do just kind of wispy hair wherever it's at. You can kind of decide which lines to use and which ones to kind of simplify. It's up to you. I'm going to do my eyes. There we go. Now, if I want to check on my drawing, I can just click on the eye, and so I can see it right there. I can always change this background color if I want to kind of rethink the tone of the piece and what I want it to look like. So you can always kind of drop in some color, although it gets a little complicated when you try to switch now. I'm gonna go back to that green. Here we go. At the very end of the project, once I have this all drawn in, I have another one that I have been working on, so I'm going to show you that one. So here is my final drawing that I've done. I chose the background, I colored the white, I still have my picture here, but I've hidden it. And I'm going to choose one area to do a pop of color. Now, I think it would be kind of interesting to make like maybe my glasses have the pop of color. Maybe it's something like the background has it. I want to think about using two colors that work really well together. And so when I think of that, I just think automatically complementary colors, although you could do something different. So let's say I get my original color. Maybe I just want to do like a darker version of that. That could be interesting since they relate to each other already. So I have a darker, whoops. I have a darker shade. I need to close my shape before I do that. Something like that might be interesting. Or I could do that complement to blue and do an orange. Ooh, something like that. Feel free to kind of work with these how you'd like. So if you think it's more interesting to add a couple places where there's that top of a different contrasting color, you are welcome to do that. If you want, if it's easier not to fill it with a paint bucket, you are welcome to use a different tool and to actually draw in that color. That's totally fine as well. But we're going for a really graphic self-portrait that has a pop of color, and you're going to follow these steps to do it. When you are done with your portrait, think to yourself if it needs to be cropped at all, if it needs anything else that would make it a little more interesting to you. And then we are going to save it and submit your graphic self-portrait.